Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome to Lone Oak Farm. This is episode number 16, and thank you all so very much for coming back for another episode here on this wonderful and beautiful map. Let's see. Let me catch you up on a little bit of things that's been going on here at the Grizzly Bear Sims headquarters, I suppose I could say. Been about a week since I have actually sat down and played Farm Sim 19. Had a good break away from things. I don't want to burn myself out. It's one of the things that I had sort of made the commitment when I rebooted the channel and everything, was I wanted to make sure that I didn't do that. And so yeah, it's been busy. It's been a busy week and a half. And again, like I said, it's been about that long since I've actually played. I did some flight simming and some other things. If you are familiar with the flight sim stuff, you may know, especially if you fly online on the VATSIM network, you know that VATSIM released their brand new audio for VATSIM. I've been flying on the VATSIM network since 2001 when they started. So they basically did an 18-year, much needed 18-year upgrade to the audio portion. The old audio system was like I said, very outdated. So I've been spending a little bit of time flying because, you know, that's really my main gaming passion. That's something that goes back many years for me. I started flying computer-based simulation games, computer-based flight sims on the Commodore 64 back in the mid 1980s, or the early 1980s actually. I think I got my Commodore 64 in about 1983, I believe it was 83, 84, and have very fond memories of my uncle, who at the time, my uncle's still alive, but at the time my uncle had his private pilot's license, and he was actually the very first person that took me up flying when I was a little boy, probably around 5 or 6 years old. And you know, he didn't necessarily understand the computer aspects of the simulation, the Commodore 64 simulation version of that, which later became Microsoft Flight Simulator. But he did understand, obviously, the techniques of flying, and helped me better understand how to land. I could not, for the life of me, I could not land the little Cessna or whatever it was that was depicted in those early versions of Flight Simulator. I couldn't land that thing to save my life. At least I couldn't land it on the runway. I could land it on grass, and of course back then, the Chicago area was depicted, and it was, of course, Chicago Meigs Field. Oops, wrong button there. Let me get back to this. Let me get back to that view. Chicago Meigs Field, which no longer exists, obviously, but that was depicted in the simulator, and he at least helped me understand the basics: flight and speed and pitch and roll and yaw and all those things, which I have learned from that point forward and carried that forward. And well, I may not be the best simulator pilot in the world because, well, I tends to go hot and cold with me. I will fly for a little while and then put it aside. And but in any event, I have very fond memories of that. And of course, when VATSIM updated their audio, it was such a beautiful thing, beautiful sounding thing. I'd never heard anything so great to my ears in really ever on the VATSIM network. And so anyway, long story short, I've been spending some time flying, and it's actually felt very good to be able to do so. Okay, we are going to leave this guy here. You might remember in one of the earlier episodes, maybe it was 15 or 14, I can't remember now, I talked about that we may do some work for one of our neighbors, and we're actually going to do that now. We're going to go and spray. If I can find where I actually left the sprayer, and it's right in here, I'm going to go and spray our neighbor's field because, well, that's what we do. Farmers helping farmers, friends helping friends, all that good kind of stuff. So we're going to bring our John Deere sprayer out here, and we'll go out. We'll go out this other door over here and not open this thing up. But we have actually made some very good progress. Now, of course, it's just been Jack and I here on the farm. Billy Bob is still recovering from his little procedure that he had done, and he's doing well. We're hearing good things from him. He's starting to argue. He's starting to argue with his wife, and that's always a good sign. You know, even when I'm sick, and at home. And my wife comes and tells me to take my medicine or eat or something like that. You know, when I get to a point where I'm starting to fuss and I maybe want to go downstairs and play flight sim or play farm sim or something like that, and she starts arguing with me and telling me to stay in bed. Well, if I can argue back, then there's a pretty darn good chance that I'm feeling better. So it is field number 26 that we're going to spray for our friend here. And of course, because he's just up the road here, he is our friend. Yeah, he's our friend. We'll call him a friend. You know, like I've said before, like I've set up this storyline a little bit, our farmer, our neighbors and everything have been on some hard times because of that late season, we'll call it late season frost because it happened in the spring. But they have just had a hard time. So let me get things turned on here. I think it's that button, and then I think that button auto adjusts the width, and then we're going to go ahead and turn it on, and we'll drop this, drop our A, and we'll drop our B, and then we'll get locked in. And off we go. We are spraying for our neighbor, helping them out, and probably don't really need GPS for this, but that's okay. We have it installed in this tractor, and we'll go ahead and do that. And man, this thing is wanting to just run away with me, isn't it? Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Hope everyone is having a fine day, actually. As I've said, I've had a wonderful week. The weather here in Colorado, just to kind of step out of storyline here for a bit, has been fantastic. But we had some snow come through, and I'm recording this episode on the 24th of October, so excuse me. Halloween is not far away from us. Halloween is actually a week from today, actually. So tomorrow, of course, will be the first. A week from tomorrow will be, of course, the 1st of November, and we'll turn off the sprayer so we don't waste anything as we turn around and head back the other direction. Try not to bend that beam, and then we'll back up a little bit and get square with the world, and then off we go again. But had some snow move into the area. Got about another 2 inches or so here in Denver last night. That was Wednesday into Thursday. Not much disruption at the office. Most everyone was able to make it in just fine. There are some people that live up in the foothills, and I think there was quite a few inches up there, so some of those folks may not have been able to make it down, or may have chose not to make it down if traffic and all that stuff usually gets pretty gnarly when we do have a snowstorm. But we're gonna have a wonderful day on Saturday. I'm actually contemplating doing some more smoking on Saturday. I have kind of started doing the low carb diet again. I did low carb about, am I going to miss that tree yet? I did low carb about 6 or 7 years ago and wasn't very successful with it because, well, I didn't plan things correctly. And I started low carb, and if you know how the low carb diet works, you kind of know that you don't have a whole lot of energy as your body is making that transition into what's known as ketosis. And when your body starts to get its energy from your fat, and I have a little bit of that to go around, and so I had planned a back deck demolition and reinstall for the next weekend. So 5 days later, after I started the low carb diet, I was out back tearing a deck apart and literally hit the brick wall because I didn't have the energy to do that. And so I went off the low carb diet and just went on to a traditional, what I call a traditional diet, which is kind of just managing your calories in and calories out, and did okay with that. In all honesty, I did. And but you know, as I've gotten older, one thing that I have realized is that my joints and my knee and my ankle just can't endure the kind of pain and everything that I've been subjecting them to with my walking regime that I've talked about before on my videos. And so I sort of thought, well, let me try this low carb keto thing. And so that's what I'm doing. I've been on the keto diet for about well, this is actually my third week. So I've been on it for 2 full weeks, and after this weekend, next Monday, it'll be my completion of my third week, and I'm doing quite well, making good progress on losing weight. And the reason why I'm trying this is because I know that I need to get exercise, but I also need to lose weight to get my cholesterol in line. And so I feel pretty good about the limited amount of exercise that I can do that doesn't stress my knee, it doesn't stress my ankle and everything. And so I'm thinking that this keto thing will help me lose a few pounds, and we'll just see how that goes. But I am thinking, and from what I've heard from Billy Bob's wife, Mrs. Billy Bob, I'm hoping that Billy Bob is going to be back to work with us tomorrow. He will be in limited capacity um, as we as we try to get this thing turned around, because we are literally at the edge of the map. So we kind of have to be careful. I don't want to go too far off out there into Never Never Land, because I know when I've done that on some maps, it basically locks the game up. But anyway, I'm hoping that Billy Bob will be back tomorrow. Our corn is all in. We've got all three of our fields, all three of our cornfields are done. Let me bump my time up here because I'm sitting here talking in 1x time, and we really like to play in 5x time just to make things go by quicker. It is the 7th game day of our year. We're playing 9 game day seasons, so we're making really good progress. We are going to look at the possibility, after I get my GPS turned off, to get started on planting beans in the next day or two, and really need to get Billy Bob back for that. Not necessarily running the seeder or anything like that, even though I think he may be able to, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe the next day. The doctor says that as long as he doesn't do any heavy lifting, bouncing around in the tractor, shouldn't be a problem, pending that our fields are nice and smooth. And so Jack has been cultivating, giving everything a nice smooth surface for Billy Bob to return on. And so yeah, so that's our plan anyways, as we speak for now. So let me just pull up our map, and I'll just show you all here. We're still working on this contract. I think I can leave this. I tell you what, let's complete this job, and then, because I don't know if I can leave that screen or not. I think I can, but hey, we're almost done, and I would hate to lose this contract, or as we're calling it, we're just doing this for our friend. Even though he's going to pay us a little bit of money, we're still doing it for our friend, and it's going to help him out tremendously. But yeah, I hope to start doing beans in the next day or two, and then just moving everything along. We're still looking for 60 degree soil temperature for cotton, but you know, at the rate that things are going, we'll be there in the next few days. We should be there. We should be at 60 degree soil temperature, I would think, around, if not maybe before, the first game day of summer. So that is going to be fantastic, right? Get some cotton in the ground, Obviously, when it comes time to harvest, that'll be the first time that I will be able to experience the wonderful John Deere cotton DLC. Now, turn the sprayer off. Keep hitting the wrong key. Um, of course, now the Kloss DLC is out and it's downloaded, and I haven't looked at it yet, but I know that a lot of folks have been talking and praising it and everything. Um, some people, I did read something about one of the Kloss tractors being, or at least having the appearance that it's underpowered, but I don't have any firsthand experience with that because, like I said, I haven't played with any of those. Going back into character here for just a moment, I know I talked about in one of the episodes a little while ago about getting some extra equipment from our dealership, and the combine is a possibility. The combine's a possibility. However, I don't think the seeder, the big row crop seeder, the big John Deere row crop seeder that we were looking at getting, they had to ship that out to a neighboring county, and so we're not going to get access to that, and that's okay. I know we're done with this job here, but we're going to go ahead and see it to fruition for our friend, because hey, we wouldn't want to leave a spot that's not precisely fertilized for him. And there we go. So this is done. Fantastic. He is going to be just pleased as punch that we were able to get this done for him, and will not drive across this field. As we vacate the field, we'll come over this direction and go ahead and come up here and bounce around. Well, I tell you what, we're not gonna ruin our sprayer by bouncing across our field. We'll come on over here and come up our road here that we share with our neighbor. All right, well, this is just about all that I had planned for this. I don't suppose. Let me just quickly see now that that contract is done. We will collect our $17,000 from Peter, good friend. But let's go over here and see if these other fields could be sprayed, if it will take spray right now. Looks like field 30 needs it. Let's see, just while we're in this neck of the woods, because this will help us out. If it will take the fertilizer, I don't know if it will or not, but we will find out. And then we'll just go ahead and knock this out while we have this unit over here. And that way it will save us from having to bring this thing over this direction again. And is it taking it? Let's just check the chart. And it is. So we will go ahead and spray this field. This is I believe this is canola. Pretty sure it's canola. Hope to get back down here into the man cave to do another video or two, just to get those kind of in the can, because I've got some work projects that's going to be coming up, and I'm going to be working down in our Colorado Springs office for a few days next week. Next weekend is just going to be bitter cold, and I'm hoping that there will be no snow, because I really don't want to have to drive back and forth. I don't want to stay down there. My wife certainly doesn't want me to stay down there. She likes to have me here. I like to be here. There's no place like home. There's no place like your own bed, for sure. But I will have to be down there for a few days. And when I have to drive, Colorado Springs, from my house to the Colorado Springs office, is about an hour. It's about 40 miles or so, but the traffic is just miserable. The traffic is just miserable. There's construction that's going on I-25, and that construction project is just going to last probably forever. And the construction just makes an hour-long drive really grueling. The traffic makes it extremely grueling, and by the time I get home, I'm just exhausted, because I get up and I will leave here around 5:30 in the morning to beat the morning traffic, because I would rather sit in traffic in the evening than sit in traffic in the morning. And so I leave here, because I've turned into that I've turned into my dad, as I've talked about before, about getting up waking up about 4:30 in the morning. And so I will generally hit the road about 5:30, and I've got to go down there about 3 days in a row. And as I said, by the time I get back, I'm generally beat, and I don't want to play games or anything like that. So I'm going to try to get a couple of videos in the can, so that there are no gaps. But if there is a gap, it should only be 1 or 2 days. I'm putting out 3 videos a week right now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if there is a gap, it would probably be on maybe a Monday and a Wednesday. But if obviously if you don't experience a gap, then all is okay. We'll just see how it goes. But yeah, before we know it, Thanksgiving's going to be here. I'm looking forward to. We have Veterans Day off, and Veterans Day will be coming up in November. I believe it's the 7th or 8th of November, something like that. I don't have a calendar in front of me, so if it's not that date, then don't freak out on me. But it is whatever it is. It's a Monday, so we'll have a 3-day weekend, and I'm actually looking forward to that because we've had so many projects going on, honeydew projects and everything, that I'm worn out. I'm worn out. We had some furniture moved around today, had some things moved from the basement upstairs, and some things from the upstairs moved downstairs to the basement, and they were just so heavy that my wife and I just could not manage that ourselves. So we hired some company called College Hunks Who Move Junk or something like that, and they did a fine job moving that stuff. You know, these guys were about a third my age, so and built like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So they were, well, Arnold Schwarzenegger maybe 30 years ago, but they were in great shape, and they got everything moved for us and all of that good stuff. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I realize that this is kind of a short episode, but that's okay. We'll give you some time to go and spend doing other things, maybe watching some of our friends like Duckzorly, watching some of his farming adventures. And we'll be right back here very soon for another video here on Lone Oak Farm. I hope that everyone is doing well. God bless you all. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye for now.